you want me to put the light on?
Yes, defo.
Oh, that's much better.
Great. I've got a spot that's arwyddfa here.
Oh, I've got one right on my boob. My back is just rank, but fuck it. I've got a gin. And it's Kiri Gymru.
Welcome. Croeso. Croeso I Welsh Wednesdays o dydd Wener. No, dydd Llun, dydd Mawrth, dydd Wener? No,
Merched.
Merched. Wener is Friday. Friday nights. I'd also like to say Croeso I, the spot on my head. I'm Kiri Pritchard-McLean, and this is Gill-Williams, whichever side you are on. I don't know how it works.
You know, on the telly when the presenters always sat, and then which I can't remember, like there was big debates on BBC Breakfast about where the presenters were sat.
I've been in a couple of double acts in my time. When I was doing a musical with Jade Adams, I would always be on the right-hand side, she would always be on the left-hand side. And with Rachel Fairburn, it's the other way around, I think.
So which one's the prominent?
I don't think there is a prominent. I do both, babes. What's it called in gay culture when you do both?
Ambidextrous, but that's when you write with both hands, isn't it?
No, I'm talking about people who top and bottom. Is it verse as in she's versatile? Basically get you a girl who does both, and that's me. I will top and bottom or left and right. Dwi'n gwneud rhaglen ar y teledu am pobl enwog sy'n eisiau siarad Cymraeg, wel, dysgu Cymraeg a siarad Cymraeg. Felly, dwi'n neud lawr o pethau wythnos ma. Popeth yn yr ynys achos Covid, de. Ond mae'n dydd hir a lawer o concentration achos dwi'n dechrau dallt popeth pobl dweud ond dwi'n rhaid I mi really concentrate achos if I zone out for a second I lose where I am, but if I really concentrate I can just understand everything other than like very long words that I've just never heard of before.
Ar ôl yn neud Nant Gwrthein cwrs residential, pryd nes I symud I adra, ddim yn medru newid I Saesneg, fy mhen yn stuck mewn Cymraeg.
Wow.
Felly, wythnos yma am ti yn really beneficial. So, newid is the word for change.
Yeah. 1D. Yeah.
1D, yeah. One Direction. This week,
I'm excited.
Wythnos yma, da ni'n siarad amdan Kiri Gymru, Song for Wales. It's a little bit like the Eurovision if you just turn your expectations down slightly. Less glitz. And I think initially it started, they broadcast it on St David's Day, Dydd Dewi Sant. But I think it's maybe a couple of days either side of that now. So anyone can enter. I think the rules are it has to be a Welsh language song. And you can write it and someone else can perform it. And they used to be like a cash prize at the end. There is now, but the pot's gone down slightly since it started. So I think it's like £5,000 if you win.
Right.
Yeah, and then you get this trophy which looks like a shell and like a dilated vulva. So that's the kind of premise of it. It's a bit like a Welsh Eurovision and anyone can enter it, but it's a massive, dathlu celebration of Welsh music, Welsh language music. I think Bryn Vaughan has won twice. Elin Fleur has won in 2002 and she had another entry like 2017, maybe something like that. But it definitely springboards their kind of career as well. I went to a recording of it in Pontio about, maybe 4 years back. It was just seemed like the night to drink and have fun, but you couldn't take a glass into Pontio. So, and I was also pregnant, so.
Yeah, that's the one that should have come first, mate. And who votes for the winner? Is it the public?
Yeah, us. the audience. Yeah. So it's a bit X Factor meets Eurovision. Yeah, it's great. It's a good fun night. And it was started in 1969 because Wales didn't have an entry to the Eurovision. The BBC were trying to like put 2 entries forward into Eurovision. So in Wales, they're like, what's happening? We're gonna get a Eurovision entry. And then just dreams dashed in one day. But the songs will be more Gwerin, which I know is your favourite. Lots of songs about the landscape and the mountains. They're either really rousing and you could all sing them in a tavern, or they're really nostalgic, passionate about a gwlad. And there is quite a theme of the type of winner, really.
Are you saying they're always white?
They're always white. There was a song in 1990 called A Gwlad Rasta Gwyn. So it's the white Rastas country. It translates as.
The land of white Rastas feels like a half man, half biscuit, like joke parody song title.
Yeah. Because I do think it has stirred up a little bit of controversy, but I can't find much about it. I've been trying desperately to find the lyrics so I could translate them, but I can't find them because I don't want to speak out of turn about it. But equally, I'm a bit like, very bold.
Yeah. Did it win?
It won. And every time I see it performed, there's to this like really white crowd. It's quite, the melody's really, you can sing along. But I was like, you know, cultural appropriation kind of, and the terminology, but I don't know what the content of the lyrics is.
Unless it's a satire of cultural appropriation, which I'd be astounded if it was in that year. I can't see a set of lyrics that would have me listen to it and be like, that's great, that's fine. I listened to the song of the last winner,
Griffith Wyn. But his is very Bond.
It's just such a big song. It's big. It felt like almost like musical theatre, and you're right, Bond, kind of like big, and it wasn't what I expected. I thought it would be sort of like a man with long fingernails and long nasal hair playing a folk song with his eyes closed.
You do see a lot of flat caps, like throughout.
I used to always have Eurovision parties at my house, and people would come on, and we'd all you get assigned a country, and there's a drinking game that goes with it, and it's like kind of thing that lots of people sit down and watch together and tweet along to. And is Gani Gymru like that?
Yeah, there is a big engagement on Twitter the night that it's on. So yeah, it's kind of watched and viewed with a bit tongue in cheek, but I think it's loved. It's a Genod Lethal national treasure, maybe, would be a good way to describe it. One thing that is quite iconic is Ellen's outfit every year. I mean, she could stick a bin bag on, she'd be fine. But I think it's something that like the audience is like to see what she's wearing, because she brings the glamour, really.
Ellen Fleer is, if you're not familiar, is like when I was growing up, like Welsh pop star. So she's won and had entries before, and now she hosts it, right?
Yeah, she's hosted it for quite a few years now. One year she wore this is one I remember, like a blazer, but with half of it missing. Like a bit 80s powerhouse, but she's sexy as well. And I do love to see what she's wearing. I do love it when they bring the glamour.
I love an occasion. So yeah, I think I'm gonna really like it.
I'd like to see a few more different acts kind of come through it. Wyt ti'n chwarae cerddoriaeth, instrument?
Tipyn bach, dwi'n chwarae gitar, ond dwi dysgu fi. I taught myself. Dwi'n cachu.
Well, you better hurry up and learn, because we're going in next year. Just grow your fingernails and your nasal hair.
Oh, all over that, mate. I have to get it out, you know. I have to I can't bear to wax it. So sometimes I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, it's my own nose hair that has grown over the end of my nose, like a chemistry teacher. And I was like, okay, I'm now the kind of woman who has to take care of my nasal hair. I don't know when that happened, but
Oh, it's horrible. I've got like, this is so gross. It's just this hair that comes here. Jonathan saw it once and he just tried to wipe the fluff off and it was taut. And I was like,
maybe you can learn how to play that. You can play your chin hair, and I'll play my nose hair. If we don't win with that after the white rasta debacle, I don't know what will.
I was thinking about Canu Gymru and what it actually represents musically. I think I've said this sentence before, and the avoidance of sounding like a wanker. I love music. I do. I love it. It's just everything. But I was thinking about storytelling and how music can it can explain culture and it can capture so much. Like I was likening it to, you know, capoeira. So like when they've tried to tell the stories of their ancestors, but they were so oppressed, so like black slaves would have to kind of, they weren't allowed to talk about home, so they created this capoeira, which is like this dance and singing and storytelling, really. And I think Wales is so rich with musicality and just passing things on, and you know, the slight oppression there as well, and this is how they've kept traditions alive. And Canu Gymru feels like a modern day nod to that. I think it's beautiful. Do you remember Capital of Culture?
Yeah, 2008, yeah. Liverpool. That's why Liverpool.
I used to live in Kensington in Liverpool. I lived in all the lovely places like Kensington, Toxteth. But it did regenerate Kensington.
It's a massive influx, and Liverpool really went for it. Did you go down and see Ringo play on the roof?
No, I didn't.
Of the Amgueddfa, the big museum at the bottom of London Road. He played the drums on the roof, and he released this song. And it was like, Liverpool, I left you, and was all about him leaving Liverpool. And then he went on the Jonathan Ross show and just slagged Liverpool off and was like, yeah, well, there's a reason I left years ago. My friend's boyfriend's mum, she said she came down the next day after that Jonathan Ross interview and she was frying sausages like that, like a proper Willie Russell play. And she went, well, he's burnt his bridges here. And no one bought the single.
I love Liverpool for that, though. I love their principles. And yeah, never cross a Scouser, really. And I think that's why I love Canu Gymru. I think the fact that there's just a big two fingers up to like the establishment who aren't going to let them do this Eurovision entry, and they just decided to do this competition, Cystadleuaeth, every year.
I definitely felt like Liverpool felt not Welsh, but like something of the Welsh in like proud, but you know, like we can take the piss out of ourselves, we're not really interested in anyone else doing it, and also a genuine sense of culture like there is in Wales. Like Liverpool does have an attachment to its own culture. Should we have a go at speaking Welsh?
Yeah, I'm sweating by this radiator, for fuck's sake.
Dwi'n meddwl gan I Gymru clywed gyffrous iawn, exciting, very exciting, achos dwi'n caru rhywbeth bod dathlu y gwlad a culture a dwi'n caru pethau lle pobl dod together.
Gyd yn gilydd?
Dod gyd yn gilydd. A mwynhau well, culture, dwi'n meddwl. A ennill, is that no, is that this year? No.
Llynedd is last year. Blwyddyn yma, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, because ennill is to win.
Do you mean eleni?
Eleni, yeah. Eleni, dwi'n trio edrych gan I Gymru, a dwi'n trio creu, now that's to believe, create gwneud chwarae yfed, drinking game.
I think you just said Canu Gymru, clywed sounds very exciting to me because I love anything to do with celebration, enjoyment, and bringing people together through culture. Or
Well, yeah, but I didn't know what culture was. Like any like celebration of culture where people come together. Yeah.
And this year, you're gonna watch and create a drinking game. Was that kind of
Yeah,
what you?
no, perfect. Yeah, yeah, perfect. Yeah, and oh god, what's normally?
Fel arfer is usually.
Fel arfer, dwi ddim yn hoffi cystadleuaeth ar y teledu.
Yeah, dwi'n gwybod. Oh
Achos
shit, I should have meant there are judges, but they're qualified judges. Like they're not like ones where you think, what the hell are you doing on there? Do you know what I mean?
yeah, it's not an ex-Spice Girl.
It's not like Spice Girls. Yeah. Well, I think I've spoken enough really, but be dwi eisiau deud amdan Canu Gymru? Roedd yn dathlu cyddoriaeth o'r Gymru. Mae'n y cystadleuaeth i cymryd pobl creatif i trio i codi platform am nhw, ac hefyd mae'n y cash prize, a dwi eisiau ennill hon un dydd ar y trophy fwlfa. Gen i. Mae'n ofnadwy i deud hon, sorry, it's not like a vulva. Be'r arall? Dwi'n really joio watcha Elin a Tristan achos gyd yn gilydd mae nhw'n cael chemistry. Mae nhw'n cael doniol. Doniol? They have laughing. So
Chwerthin? Chwerthin?
Wel, dyma ni. Dwi'n meddwl mae'n y funud. Ond just noson hyfryd. And dim cynical, just nice.
Yeah.
Even though I tried to make it really serious talking about capoeira. Anyway, diolch i galon, Kiri, and cario ymlaen efo wythnos yma. Ti'n neud yn da iawn.
No, diolch. Ydy patronising yn Cymraeg?
Oh, fucking hell, I don't know. Me, Katie.
Ta-ra wan, diolch.